See, that's what we need. We need to like record us saying stuff for our drops. Like, goddamn 47.
Welcome back to another Fantasy and Chill draft profile. Tonight we will be profiling Antonio Brown, wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders. New team this year.
You gonna fucking introduce me, man?
I didn't introduce you last time, so I didn't think
Okay.
you warranted an
His name's Britt.
introduction.
Fuck it.
Once we get a regular season. They all remember you anyways. Antonio Brown finished as wide receiver 3 last year. Really, if you look at point averages per week, he finished number 2 behind Tyreek Hill. He had 104 catches for 1,297 yards and 15 touchdowns. So first, I want to get into where I have Antonio ranked as far as wide receivers go. He's been kind of the consensus number 1 wide receiver for, what would you say, the last 4 or 5 years?
Easy, yeah.
Pretty much ever since like Calvin Johnson retired.
Yeah.
I've been Antonio Brown number 1.
Did
But
Hopkins,
he's also been in Pittsburgh.
did Hopkins go before him last year?
No, because I took
No, he was
Antonio
not.
Brown with my first round pick, first
Okay.
wide receiver off the board, which is why I'm repping the jersey. You can see.
Yeah, just missing the shoulder pad.
Yeah. But anyways, I have Antonio Brown as my number 6 wide receiver this year. So where do y'all have Antonio Brown ranked as y'all's wide receivers?
I think I have him at 7, 6 or 7. I think he's somewhere in there for me. I think I have him right before Mike Evans.
I have him around probably the same, around 7.
So with him being my 6th ranked wide receiver, we're going to talk about where we can target probably drafting him if you plan on drafting him this year. I have him as let me pull up my notes I made earlier since I exited out of that.
Way to be prepared. I like it.
Early to mid 3rd rounder.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to be in the top 2 or 3 picks to get him.
Now, he probably will go more toward mid to late 2nd round in everybody's drafts, I would probably say. But as for me, I'm looking at him early to mid 3rd. And when I said I had him as wide receiver 6 earlier, that was Tyreek Hill. I have him as wide receiver 10. I don't even know what I was talking about. He's my 10th ranked wide receiver.
No, he's better than that.
That's why I have him as an early to mid 3rd rounder.
Yeah, I was a little down on him to start, I guess, the whole off season. I don't know. I was telling Britt, I think it was when we were over the weekend, like every time I watch these YouTube videos of these cornerbacks talking about who the best wide receiver they go up against is, every single one of them constantly just lists out Antonio Brown.
Exactly. I mean, you can really only name 4 or 3 really like stud wide receivers athletically as gifted as him. Hopkins, Julio Jones, and Beckham. Anybody else? Tyreek Hill, I guess, with the speed, but still, Antonio Brown, I think he's better than Devontae Adams, Michael Thomas, Juju, Mike Evans, just as far as route running and his hands.
I'd probably agree as we're talking about just as far as just wide receivers go. He's still a top 3 probably wide receiver, but we're talking about fantasy here. Doesn't always translate to who's the best. So a couple of my concerns while I have him as wide receiver 10 is it Derek Carr way less than Big Ben.
But he's the only target there. Last year, Antonio Brown still had Juju Smith-Schuster there and James Conner in the backfield. Like, Antonio Brown is going to be the only threat.
Well, let's talk about Derek Carr's only threat last year for the first half of the season. Amari Cooper.
Not the best, but he has supported. Who was it? It was Crabtree and fuck, I can't remember his name. He had the 2 wide receivers there. Fuck.
Cooper?
Was it Cooper and Crabtree?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cooper and Crabtree,
Yeah,
which they were good, but we're talking about like top of the line fantasy wide receiver here.
I know, but he's never had a receiver like this, though.
I know, but
Antonio Brown's a lot better than Cooper.
Went from Oakland, where he was just trash last year. He gets to Dallas, and all of a sudden he's a top 10 wide receiver again in fantasy with Dak Prescott throwing in the ball.
That's true. I had him in those games, but a lot of that was just blown coverage. And I mean, he only really did his damage in 3 games, I think. And it was a lot of just wide open, just basically slants and just hit.
Still, I remember having the conversation last year where we were talking about dropping Amari Cooper in the beginning of the year.
Yeah. We did. I didn't. Thank God.
I don't think
So
Derek.
now Antonio Brown's going. Sorry, Matt. I keep cutting you off. What are you
That's
gonna
all right.
say?
I was just gonna say I don't think Derek Carr is as bad as everyone's making him out to be. I'm looking
No,
at his
no,
stats.
exactly.
He was top 5 in completion percentage last year, and that might be because, I mean, they got rid of Amari Cooper, so there's just a lot of dump offs to Jared Cook. But still, he can throw a good ball. It's not like he's a terrible QB. He's better than his brother was, which, I mean, that's not saying much, but
Well, shit, Britt's better than him. So.
Hey. But then you got to think of game script too. Okay, Oakland is going to be down. They're going to be behind. They're going to have to throw the ball. I mean, as long as Antonio Brown doesn't get hurt, I don't see how he doesn't finish as a top 5 wide receiver.
I just think he had issues last year with Big Ben. I don't know if he knows how good he had it with a Hall of Fame quarterback.
yeah. I think Antonio Brown can create enough space, like separation, where
Exactly,
it's not going to
yes.
matter. Like
Yes.
Amari Cooper, he wasn't really that type of guy.
And look, like I said, I'm still not dogging him. I still have him as a top 10 wide receiver. I just don't think he will be that top first round, second round guy that he's been in the past.
Okay, would you rather have Juju or Antonio Brown?
Well, I think you already answered that
Juju,
question.
obviously.
Juju easy. See, I'm probably still going Antonio Brown. He's proven like Juju. Like the argument against Juju now is he's never been a number 1. Like it totally changes when you're a number 1 and you get the best cornerback. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
We haven't seen that. Juju has his 2 good seasons, but they were both with Antonio Brown opposite.
You want to make a put it on the board bet right now?
Put it on the fucking board, Matt.
Matt, you got that board ready?
Yeah, it's over there. You make me get up.
You gonna write it down?
Smith-Schuster will outscore Antonio Brown in fantasy points this year.
Poop slap
Put
on
it
the
on-
line.
Poop slap?
No. Not a poop slap.
Okay.
We'll
something. Discuss the details later.
yeah, we'll discuss the details.
All right. I'll
We'll
put it on the
let y'all
board.
know. Anything else about Antonio Brown before we wrap this up?
A hard knocks effect too. Everybody's gonna see him in hard knocks. Gonna be all over his dick.
That is true.
Yeah, he
Oh,
will
can I
get a
say
bump
that?
from that. Always happens.
Yep. And I'll put out a post about that.
Hard
towards
knocks
the end of
bumps
Hard
are
Knocks.
always disappointing.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. Hey, first episode next Tuesday night, I think.
And there's the
All
plug
right,
for
it was
Hard Knocks.
sponsored by HBO. Give him a plug right there.
Hey,
Hit
first
us up,
game this
HBO.
Thursday. Oh, and you were right,
Cut the
Killer.
fucking check.
You were right. If you play in the Hall of Fame game, you do play 5 preseason games. I'm sorry.
Britt, what have I always told you?
I apologize.
I'm always right.
Jesus.
Anyways, we will come back at you again sometime soon. We're going to hit up a few more players. I think the next one we're going to hit up is Le'Veon Bell. So if you're interested in Le'Veon Bell, make sure you tune in to our next episode.
See ya.
Yeah.